I'm just going to keep dialoguing for a moment. One of the things that I find subtly interesting about the times, the Harvey Weinstein scandal, etc., in Hollywood, and it's an interesting time, the Me Too, Rose Army, the movement, women speaking of their sexual harassment stories in the acting world, in gymnastics, etc., uh, in all walks of life, and job description, and around the world. And Kim Kardashian has nothing to add. Well, if you think back, how she got her start, if I recall, was from a leaked sex video. Okay? And she simply took it as a trump card to exploit. Now, given the constitution of container doftitude toft, hyphenated, I get the zeitgeist, I get the spirit of the times, of making the times work for you too. I get that, but this is not the time I'm shedding here nor there, you know. The times are to constitutionally be aware, to be the love of awe, WAREAD. What is subtle? Subtly not there that this Me Too movement is not something Kim Kardashian can speak on. It's not how she's earned her money, ever. Okay? Now, the fact that she's a married woman and is producing kids and makes up pseudo-rationalisms of, yes, for my Halloween costume, I chose powerful women, so that, which was really the aftermath of the motivation of, how do I wear skimpy, skin-tight clothing to show my breasts and whatever else I can get away with IT. Okay. To incur the same monetary income, exponentially hyphenated, and call it gathering and distributing self-esteem. it's subtle. This is not something she can speak on. It's not how she's been brought up. It's not how she has thought to make her money. She has thought to counterfactually produce, after the hyphenated fact and tact, something that sounds reasonably to be in black and thus back, -T. I'm just doing my best stab at it. Hyphenated, it's pseudo-rationalisms. I mean, to me, it was just so utterly, was almost vapid to, look at, like, really? I mean, I get that you're wearing a costume for Halloween that exposes your tits, etc. I get that, okay? That's what you do. If there's anything signature about Kim Kardashian, it's exposing body parts, okay, for everyone to look at. Usually, they have nothing else to go on, to do with anything else going on in the world. Like, okay, so there's a bombing in London. Let me send you a sexy photo of me. Okay. to the internet world. You know what I mean? There's a watershed moment in Hollywood. Well, I'm going to talk about empowering women I believe in as I show you my tits, my glittering tits. But that was my first motivation. I just I added on the embellishment of, I think too. No, this is not the same thing. You're not really earning your own way, okay? You're not selling yourself. You sold yourself, and I get the ways and means. That's been a starter for a number of women, right? In Hollywood, you've been marked, hyphenated. What was his name? Is it Solomon? What's his first name? I don't know. Who's the dick with Pam Anderson? So that sex tape, you know, he seems like an emotional stub. He made a lot of money from it. I don't think she made any from the sex tape that he shot of her. It's not something you take back in terms of, hey y'all, everybody saw it, now we're going to ask you not to see it. After you bought it, especially. I get it. Certainly I get it. But I get that you're living a delusional life that you would like to feed to other people, ass weld, when you're not getting the time. I thought it was interesting, you know. She's not speaking on the Me Too movement, but then she's speaking about powerful, empowering women she believes in, and I'm like, this is just, you know, hypertrophic fallacy building dementia. Okay. To say that you care about empowering women. All right? You're just looking for another way to expose your titties because that's cheap. And it's a cheap way to get looks and thus get your feed freely. The build-up of standing too stupid for your income, certainly is the same ass spiral as the male's fiction to carry the nail of character. No man is Christ. You didn't fuck Christ, okay? You don't have the capacity to conceive of Christ, and you passe daft all the time, okay? So, you've got a fiction nail as men that go down with war and frame in doft to restore the sore, R-E-D. Oh, it's in the red? Well, re-add doff. Stupid to toft, defend. To get tit blacked again. Hyphenated. Okay? No big mystery. Miss Terry is no big mystery. Okay? With my work, it's easy to see through that, and I put it out there so anyone that wants to can see through it too. Maybe we should have another vocal exercise. Let's see what I have next after humming. What is next? Module 1, warm-up exercise. Module 2, breath management. Oh, wait a minute. Module 1, warm-up exercises. There's 6 lessons. First one is humming. Second one is lip roll, 5-tone scale. All right, here we go.
Hi, and welcome to day 2 of the vocal warm-up exercises. I hope you're doing the hum exercises. So this is the second one we're going to do. I'm starting off slow on purpose here, depending on what level you're at. I just want to make sure we get your voice ready and get it going and not try and just force it and push it right away. So we're going to start slow and then really build, and it's going to become more and more complex and a lot more work, but I just want to kind of get you into the waters nice and slow. So the second one is lip rolls, and lip rolls have tons of benefits. Some I'll talk about later. I'll give you a couple of benefits now, but let me just first explain how to do it. The lip roll is basically just, and you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm lifting up the kind of the fatty part of fatty. No, I'm real fat. The skin of the cheeks. It helps a lot of people. You can just do the, but it's a little harder to do that way because you want your lips nice and like floppy and loose as you're doing this one. So I like to pick it up and just go. That's basically what you're wanting. And under that sound, you want kind of like a duh, that low sound. What that does is that kind of helps the larynx stay down and stay low. And this particularly matters when you get into the higher notes, because the larynx has a tendency to want to raise up. And when it raises up, especially when you get the higher notes, it starts squeezing your throat. And we'll talk more about that in the mix section, but this will kind of help with that. So that sound. So you're going to go. So that's the lip roll. Now what I want you to do here, and what I have for you below, is on a 5-tone scale. So you're basically going to start with whatever the starting note is and just go. And then I'll raise up a note. And on up and on up and on up. Yeah, so we'll talk more about the benefits of the lip rolls later. But build slow. We're doing the hum yesterday. We're doing the lip roll today. I want to slowly get into this, that you'll get the most benefit out of this program if you kind of go slow. If you want to blow through, that's your prerogative, and that's fine. But I think you'll get the most benefit if you're doing these exercises every day. So remember today to do the hums and to do the lip rolls for sure, and then we'll get into a third vocal warm-up on the next section and the next day. Okay, good luck, and make sure to be doing these every day, okay?
I'm not very good at that. lips go like this. I get a little burst of vibration, of reverb. Whoa. Wow. I just learned something new. All right, try with the 5-tone scale. Ready? Start your engines.
This is lip rolls on a 5-tone scale. I totally lost my blubber. Try it again. This is lip rolls on a 5-tone scale.
actually is accomplishing something. Breathing and singing is somewhat physical. It kind of gets me out of my mind and my body, where things were getting funk. Not as in funky music, funk as in stinky. Stinky from not doing anything. So it's a bit cathartic. It's good recourse to have with one leg up. And the constraints of a healing paradigm. I mean, sanity applied. Okay, I'm going to be doing time like this. I may as well figure it out. Last night was just an indication. I'm not sleeping at night anymore. This is not going to work. To put my biorhythms all over the place. I need to figure out what I can do. I'm figuring out what I can do with a report and rapport of what I go on debt to ask screwed, ask queued. Debt owed, due, with you. Add, debt to ask screwed, and ask you'd. Edit, add it, to. To be, me, used. AD. Hue and do. Dead to B A D B parentheses AD. The B the add, B the bed. That you would have given given be bread. B R E A D. Debt to the tread. And the trial balance tread bread. D parentheses H open. Dope pen and hope pen. Open debt tool lead and TOOL parentheses B EAD. Parentheses G, gag the ag again. But that DG is Degratio, so thank God that God gagged the ag, the judge, and the agriculture again, even hand. To set the frame, as your bed has been. And BE parentheses ND.
that's been alleged against him. Shine a light on the industry in general. What responsibility do you think the industry has for this type of behavior and the fact that it went on for so long?
It's a difficult question because there's a culture of paying off people. And so, if you're sexually inappropriate with somebody and they think, oh, if I speak up, am I suddenly a pain in the ass to everyone else in show business and I'll never work again? And then suddenly Harvey's like, here's 150 grand and I won't mention it to anybody. And so they set up a power dynamic that is very difficult for people to figure out what to do about. And that's why it lasts for decades, because it's like a perfect system. And then on the side, you give money to charity and you kind of create, it's like a priest who seems like a great part of the community, so that nobody doubts him. So Cosby gives his money to all these colleges and presents himself as, someone we can look up to hide their dark side. And so then we all hear these rumors. Oh, he does this, he does that, but we didn't see it. And so it's hard to say, let's go get him, because we're not a part of it. And it's unfortunately up to the people that are truly aware of it. Bill Cosby had a lot of agents. He had a lot of people that were writing checks to women. And I think the same thing is probably true of Harvey. Someone was writing those checks, and somebody knew. And those people on the inside, when they're quiet, also, it goes on for decades and decades. Because it's not hard to not be a creep. We all work in this business. It's very easy not to act like that. I mean, you can respect people, you can respect women, and it's easy. It's demented not to. And hopefully the industry as a whole is getting fed up. But the truth is, when you hear about Harvey, and you go on Twitter, you go on social media, nobody speaks up. Nobody's mad about it. No, if you list which actors, actresses, producers, directors said, this is awful. Yeah. And I stand behind these women. Same with Cosby. And same in the black community. There's not a lot of people who stand up and go, Cosby is an evil man who hurt people for decades. I am horrified. That, if you made the list of people who have spoken publicly about it, you'd go, well, why didn't this person ever say it out loud? Or this person? When you have dozens of victims. So the industry has a long way to go to have the courage to just say, I'm disgusted and I stand behind these accusers.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I think with him especially, people are very, I worked with him once a decade ago, and I was like, this is a bad dude. I'm never going to work with him ever again. And everyone is just like, yeah, but they still do. And, I think someone like him, everyone knows. I remember one of the first stories you heard about him involved inappropriate sexual misconduct, and I think that people... I know the people would say to me when I would refuse to work with him, he's old school. It's stuff like that. And there is kind of like a wink and an acceptance of that type of behavior. I think a lot of Hollywood people also like the fact that we work in a business that doesn't have the same rules as other businesses, and there's kind of free to have varying personalities and stuff like that. And I think that ultimately also allows people to excuse a lot of horribly inappropriate behavior that shouldn't be acceptable, for people to work with people like that. You know what I mean?
Do you think that he's an outlier, or do you think that behavior is...
I don't think that he's an outlier, and I think that's probably why a lot of people haven't spoken up, because they think outlier. Because I don't think that you can throw bricks at glass houses. I think that's some of the problem. I think some of the problem is that people really believed that they'd get hurt. And I think it's a tragic situation for our business. And I think that the women who stood up have to be applauded, because that's really, really hard to do when nobody wants to stand up. And the silence is deafening. And I think that's the part that we're responsible for.
Do you think there is that culture of fear, Jason, as someone who worked at Miramax?
Of course, I think there's that culture of fear, and I agree with Amy wholeheartedly that hopefully, this year, it's happened repeatedly, and I hope I hope any woman that this has happened to comes forward.
It's hard to come forward for people, because they think they're the ones who are going to be.
But I think it's beholden on, maybe some of us, for what you're saying, for the leaders in the industry
to come out and say, either they don't know this is factually correct, say if this is correct, if there is any
It's
truth in
intolerable.
this is unacceptable, and we will not tolerate it. And I'm happy to say it, but I'm not a leader of the industry. But I think that, you know, we need to find some of our peers who really do have a lot of power here in Hollywood to come out and say that and not protect him or anybody else who's doing it.
I mean, there's just a lot of people who, like, for lack of a better word, are kind of pieces of shit, and people just keep working with them.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, well, it's a necessary evil. It's what you got to do.
And you can make money.
Yeah, and you can make money. And, like, I don't work with those people. There's people, you know, I would never, I said 10 years ago I'd never work with him. I knew nothing about any of this stuff, but it's not surprising at all, you know? And so I think more people need to do that. They need to, you know, it's nice that I'm in a position where I'm successful enough to say I don't want to work with someone, because a lot of people aren't in that position also. But I think it is up to those people to not work with those people and to shun them and to let people know that it's not acceptable, you know?